All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this action-packed webinar we got here on cloud contact centers. And most of you are here to learn a little bit more about the customer experience and evolution of contact center, from the call center to the contact center, I should say. But there's a few things we're going to touch on that are pretty important for especially this modern day that we're going to touch on here. We're going to talk about the art of instant gratification. If you've noticed lately, you might have dropped a few customers, or maybe you're already doing some things to retain these customers. But a lot of the stuff that NICE CXone, who's going to be our co-host on this, they are the industry leaders in contact center. They've been leading probably for about 5 to 10 years straight. I'm not sure if that's very accurate, but we'll let Casey talk about that, our guest speaker on this as well. So not only are we going to talk about the art of instant gratification for your customers, but we're just going to kind of talk about the evolution of contact center, how you need to evolve to keep your customers happy, and the demands of your customers, most importantly. The demands of your customers are just rising and rising every day. It seems like, the younger the buyer, the harsher they are on you as well. So we're going to get into a little bit of that here for you guys. We got a lot of great content ready for you. But first, I'm going to do an introduction on Cloud Solutions team. Some of you might be wondering why we have this code branded here. The Cloud Solution team is built up of our CEO, Keith Venezzi, who is owner and operator of Eric Ryan Corporation. Yours truly, Vice President of Business Development. I help bring in new opportunities and also retain some of the customers that we already have. And then our guest speaker today is Casey Chaffin. He's a Senior Account Executive and Team Lead for NICE CXone. As I mentioned already, NICE CXone is the industry leader in cloud contact centers. So the outline of the presentation, we're just going to do a little bit about Eric Ryan Corporation's history. Then we're going to talk about the department that I head up, Cloud Solutions Division, and how we had to evolve ourselves to not only offer some of these things to our customers, but evolve ourselves as well. And then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of this with the NICE CXone presentation. You go to the next slide. So a little bit about Eric Ryan Corporation. As you can see here, we're not new to this game. We started in 1990 under the name Utility Cost Cutters. You might be wondering why this is a telecommunication or cloud thing right now with the name Utility Cost Cutters. Well, we were actually started as a utility and telecommunication bill auditing firm. Our customers would send us their invoices. We'd take a look at them with a fine-tooth comb. We'd find ways they could save money, whether that be rate changes or contracts expiring, and a whole list of other things. So we would save our customers money that way, and then also make recommendations to use other services that would, one, either cut them cut time out of their day by better efficiency, or save them money. So we did incorporate in 1995 to the Eric Ryan Corporation. You might be wondering why the name is the Eric Ryan Corporation. That is the name of the two sons of our CEO, Eric and Ryan Venezzi. Currently, we have 3 divisions. We have the utility division, the telecommunications, and the administrative division for Eric Ryan Corporation. In the past 30 years that we've been in business, I think it's actually 31 years now. So that'll be a slide. You can see the amount of customers that have come on to us and how lucrative our services were to them. We work in all 50 states, Canada, Mexico, UK, and the Caribbean as well. And a little bit about what we're going to do today. In 2010, that's when we launched the Cloud Solutions Division for the Eric Ryan Corporation. We just like to go over a little bit about our flagship customers. We're a small business ourselves, but actually growing. So I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to say that. We're getting close to pushing nearly 200 employees now. But we serve some of the biggest in the nation. As you can see up here, whether it be municipalities, government, manufacturing, colleges, K through 12, banking, financial, and hospitality as well. Hospitality has been very good to us since the very beginning of business opening. Eric Ryan Corporation as a whole, these are the services that we currently offer. You can see down here, we've talked about the utility and telecommunication bill review, a rate analysis, your contact review, our energy procurement services. So we'll go to market for that as well. We'll shop the electric and gas commodities. We actually have a broker in-house for that. Internet, voice, data center, and cloud pricing services, which we'll get into a little bit after this. Bill pay and reporting services. We do have an energy management software that we use for customers too, for reporting benchmarking, carbon footprint is the word I'm looking for. We track carbon footprint for a lot of our hospitality and real estate customers. Energy site surveys and efficiency analysis as well as something in there. So all these services are what we could help you out with. We really did a good thing back in 1990 when we opened up as a utility and telecommunication. I don't know that anybody saw it coming at that point, but if you really look into it in the future, how we're evolving, where telecommunications is starting to become a utility, especially internet. So it's all kind of like mushing together, and the idea that we had for utility and telecom couldn't have worked out better for us in the future here. Next slide. Okay, so the evolution of the cloud solutions division. Oh, you go back a little bit, one slide. So the evolution of the cloud solutions division. I've always put this slide up here just to explain what we had to do. We were just kind of selling network at first. Your SD-WAN, MPLS, coax. T1s, even T1s back in the day, if anybody remembers that. I don't know if those still exist anymore or not. All the services you see down there we're able to help you out with. But then we had to evolve, from SIP trunking, PRI, and other services that we are evolving in. Today we're here to talk about strictly contact center, which you'll see right there almost in the middle, just a little bit to the left of security, is CCAS, Contact Center as a Service. And this is what NICE CXone specializes in. This is why we have them and chose them to be on this call. We feel they will serve our customers the best, and they are the Cadillac of this service. They, in my opinion, they're the best in the industry. On the Gartner Quadrant, they're always leading as #1 in every category, and it's our pleasure to have them on the call with us today. So we're going to basically focus around here, but always keep in mind that the Cloud Solutions Division can help you with any of these areas, whether it's unified communications as a service, cybersecurity as a service, cloud communications, your connectivity, computing, infrastructure, storage, any of those areas. And IoT as well. The Internet of Things is really blowing up. It's really underrated. I was actually at a training the other day, and it's talking about how these other ones are $33 billion industries and 20-some billion dollar industries in the future. IoT is expected to be about $230 billion industry by 2030, I believe it was a statistic. And then some miscellaneous services that are over here as well. We have engineers, architects that can help you out with all this. Guide you along the line of digital transformation as well when moving to the cloud. So I think that's what the next slide will be about a little bit here, the team that you get to work with. So when you contract with the Eric Ryan Corporation and the cloud team, we start with our pecking order here with Keith Venezia as our CEO, and then Rebecca Hink, who has been with us 30 out of the 31 years as our Senior Vice President of Telecommunications. Yours truly, and then Melissa Thomas, who's on here. She's our Marketing and Sales Representative. Jeremy Honsacker, who heads up the project management team. We do a lot of social media marketing. We try to get our name out there as much as possible. But most importantly, the last two you see here, J.W. Stanley and Michael Belarjan. They're cloud sales engineers and solution architects for contact center and unified communication. These guys are instrumental when it comes to working deals with our customers. They get on the phone with you guys and they know the ins and outs of this. They work deals on a daily basis for every industry out there, so they know the carriers that they need to bring to the table when it comes to an industry, maybe something specific. If you're a nonprofit, maybe you're financial, hospitality, they've already sold a deal to somebody that's in your industry, and they know who to bring, what works, what doesn't work, and you get a nice little sheet that comes with that for pros and cons. So that's it for the Eric Ryan Corporation spiel at the very beginning in the Cloud Solutions Division. Before I introduce our guest speaker, we do have a poll we would like you guys to all participate in. If you guys would like to, go ahead and switch to the next slide. Go ahead with the poll, Melissa.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 polls, one right after another. I'll launch the first one. All right, just collecting about 2 more responses. All right.
Very good, 89%. It's getting higher and higher.
All right, and then the follow-up one.
This is a good one here, and I'd be interested to see what, it could be all of them. If you're stuck on just voice, we need to talk.
All right, I'm gonna launch it. All right.
Nice, good little mixture here. It looks like everybody's utilizing a little bit of something, and I think that's something that Casey will be getting into as well for his presentation. How they could, the difference between multi-channel, which would be all 4 of these, and there's other ones you could add to this as well, and then also omni-channel, where you could put this all together in one. NICE CXone has that available for you, so you don't have to check every single channel to get your customers' feedback for you. So without further ado, I wanted to introduce Casey Chaffin from NICE CXone. He's gonna, like I said, he's gonna be the nuts and bolts of this presentation going forward from here. Let's go ahead and take it over there, Casey. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Doug. And thank you for the introduction, and happy to be here with everyone today and to talk a little bit about NICE CXone. A little bit of introduction on, a little bit of background on me. I've been with NICE now for almost 11 years, it'll be 11 years in June. And before that, I worked for a company that actually used the NICE CXone platform back in the day when it was called UCN. It's morphed from that to InContact to NICE InContact to now NICE CXone. And we'll get into why we're focused on that CXone. And that's really our platform that we're going to talk about when we talk about contact center as a service. It's funny, Doug, that you brought up T1s. When I first started selling NICE CXone back in the day, we work a lot with T1s, and there's been a huge evolution, obviously, over years with the prominence of cloud computing and the ability and power of the internet to switch from that to just doing VoIP technology and utilizing that for voice. But once again, I've seen a huge transition, because when I first started selling this platform, it was really just voice and email. And then along the way, chat became a little bit more prevalent. And then SMS became a little bit more prevalent. And then, we started seeing this huge influx of digital channels. And so what happened really at the end of the day, and I'll get into this a little bit more detail, is our parent company, NICE, saw the strategic advantage of taking a very solid platform that they had and combining it with a cloud contact center as a service platform and combining that into one holistic solution. And so really at NICE CXone, that's what we're doing, is we're taking those customer experiences that you have, those contacts from all the different channels that we've talked about, and probably a little bit more, and being able to route those intelligently and seamlessly and give your customers, your end customers, the most seamless and frictionless, we'll talk a lot about frictionless experience possible, so that their customer journey is very seamless, it's very easy, and that the call center agent that's in your organization has all the information they need to be successful and have that experience for their customers be successful as well. So go ahead and go to the next slide here. I want to talk a little bit about what we're seeing as far as the next generation coming along. We've talked a little bit about the choice of channel, or the channel of choice there. Our next generation of customers are expecting that. Like I said, for a long time, voice was, the king and queen, if you will. However, and it'll always still have a place, I'm sure, but we're seeing more and more as the younger generations are coming up that they prefer to have a choice in the different channels that they communicate with, whether that's social media, whether that's SMS, whether that's live chat, or whether that's, taking it a step further and on your websites, interacting with a knowledge base that has AI in the back end to really just help them get the information they need. What we're finding more and more, going to that next little piece there, they need intelligent self-service options. More and more we're seeing in the digital world that our customers want to be able to get on their phones, type something in, get the answer very quickly. Once again, we're used to Google, we're used to the instant gratification of being able to do that. And the thought for a lot of the next generation coming up of having to sit there and wait for someone to answer a phone call or respond to an email or respond to a chat isn't going to cut it. They'd rather just have that information at their fingertips. Our next generation of customers want to be able to effortlessly move between channels. So if they're in a live chat, hey, things aren't getting resolved, we want to be able to escalate that to a voice call so I can talk to that person right then and there. I might send an email, then send an SMS message, then send a Facebook direct message or an Instagram direct message. And I want, our next generation customers want all of that information to seamlessly flow together so that no matter what channel, the agent knows, hey, you guys texted, hey, you texted us, a couple hours ago, you called us, have all of that information very easy for, your agents to obtain, so that once again, no matter what channel your customers are reaching out to you on, it's an easy and effortless move. And then finally, they want that experience to be unique and personal. Like I said, they want to be able to get information very quickly. They want it targeted specifically to them. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So once again, with a first generation customer experience platform, and you're probably seeing this today, there's not a lot of platforms out there that have, all the digital choices and across the board. There's limitations to it. They're incomplete, they're siloed. You have to go to 4, 5, 6 different, organizations to try to piece all that together. Because of that, it's siloed and it's hard to bring all that information together. There's no real seamless flow between the self-service and human interaction. So once again, as a customer, if I'm doing self-service and I'm trying to find information and then I go to a human agent, that interaction and that flow is pretty choppy sometimes. There's disjointed journeys and separated by channel. We talked a lot about that with being siloed. And then the interactions are generic once again. Once a customer is interacting with a call center agent, those disparate conversations that they're having aren't, seamlessly feeding all together to give that agent all the information they need to make a specific and customized, personal, unique experience for that end customer there.
So Casey, I wanted to bring up one point here. I saw that slide. It says, if you go back, Melissa, it's pretty interesting to me. Expect the choice of flexibility they have when interacting with your friends and family. And I just kind of want to touch on like how instant you get a response back. Well, if your friends actually like you, you get it back pretty quick. Family as well, same thing goes with them. Now, how is that? This is how that's applying to your customers as well. And that's what I was talking about, the instant gratification when they're reaching out to you as a consumer. And they're waiting 24 hours for a response. You got to remember that's top of mind for them. They have a real issue they're bringing to you, and they're trusting you to get back to them. So if they're waiting longer, 24 hours or longer, I mean, 24 hours is still a complaint in their mind. So this is why we're talking about the art of gaining instant gratification with your customers. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. If I waited 24 hours to respond to my wife's text, I'd be in a lot of trouble, obviously. And honestly, we're seeing that type of expectation of customers now where, hey, like you said, 24 hours isn't going to cut it. And, we need that instant gratification. We expect that instant gratification as customers. We're paying for some type of service, across the board, whatever market it may be in. And as a paying consumer of that, we have expectations, and more that instant gratification to resolve a question or an issue or whatever it may be is really expected. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So once again, next gen experiences cannot be achieved with first generation CX cloud platforms. So once again, you have the siloed channels of management, detached self-service, patched together digital approach. Once again, 5, 6, 7 different vendors and trying to mesh all of that together. Being able to have artificial intelligence and automation on the back end to seamlessly get everything to work together and be intelligent and continue to learn to make those experiences even better. And then disjointed basic, what you see there, WEM, which is workforce engagement management applications. And really those are the tools that help call center agents or contact center agents be successful. So that's forecasting and scheduling based off of the volume. So you have the right number of agents so they're not overwhelmed with contacts coming in, but they're also not sitting there twiddling their thumbs. Quality management, so making sure agents are doing and saying the right things and making sure that they're getting the feedback so that they can be successful. Customer feedback tools. So, hey, how was that interaction with our call center agent? What can be improved and how can we improve it? All of those things, once again, cannot be achieved with first generation cloud platforms today. Go ahead, next slide. So that's where CXone comes into play, is we're have the ability to have rapid innovation, huge agility and scalability, and put that all together. So once again, being in the cloud, it gives us the ability to scale operations very quickly. It allows us to be very innovative with our product tools and make those changes happen very quickly. So with NICE CXone, you're getting all those things together there. Next slide. And this is really where we come into play with CXone, and this is what your next generation experience will look like with this CXone platform. So once again, effortless conversations and customer journeys across all channels, self-service and human-assisted interactions. So no matter how your customers are reaching out to you, it's an effortless conversation and it's seamless across the board with CXone. We have all those tools, we have all those different ways and contacts of getting into your contact center and making that an effortless conversation for your end customer. Service that gets AI smarter with every interaction. Once again, we have applications from an artificial intelligence perspective on the back end to continually learn about your contact center and how to make things more efficient. State-of-the-art employee engagement from everywhere. Once again, we're pre-COVID, yeah, people still worked a lot from home and things like that. I think we saw a huge transition to working from home, and a lot of companies are seeing that works actually really well, and for a lot of different reasons. And so once again, not only do your customers kind of want that instant gratification, your call center agents almost expect that as well, and they expect flexibility. And so you're having a state-of-the-art employee engagement from everywhere. So no matter where your agents work from, we have engagement or the ability to engage your employees with our back-end tools to make sure that they are successful, that they are happy, and that they're going to want to stay around and be productive call center and contact center agents. Talked a little bit about the extreme agility and flexibility at any scale. We have customers, and we'll get into this in a little bit more detail. We have customers as small as 5 agents on our platform. We have customers as large as 50, 60, 70,000 agents on our platform. So no matter what scale, if you're an SMB customer or a Fortune 50 customer, we have the technology and we have the capabilities to make sure that you're going to be successful. And that last piece there, future-proof ROI. One thing that CXone, we really hang our hat on is making sure that we are 2 steps ahead of what your customers are expecting and anticipating. We do a lot of research to make sure that we are staying on pace or ahead of those expectations so we can develop and make sure that the technology that you and our customers are expecting are ready for you to use at any time there. Next slide. So once again, this is kind of a picture of everything that the NICE CXone platform can do. So you see there in the middle, omni-channel routing. Once again, that's taking all those different channels that could come into the contact center and making them all available under one roof. So those contacts and those channels can instantaneously flow and seamlessly flow to your contact center. So it's not disjointed, it's not siloed, it's very seamless, it's very effortless. And once again, you make that transition for your customers as effortless as possible, regardless of what channel they're interacting with you on. You'll see to the left of there, customer analytics. This is real-time, historical, customized reporting. This is using speech and textual-based analytics to make sure that you understand what your customers are seeing. Keywords and trends. Sentiment, is the overall sentiment positive or negative? If it's negative, why is it negative? What keywords are being said? And being able to drill from a very high level of what's going on within your organization all the way down to an individual contact where we can transcribe, measure the sentiment, show when specific things were said in a call and when things have changed, and be able to give that feedback to your agents so that they can improve, that your contact center overall can improve. And then on the right there, you'll see workforce engagement. Once again, these are the tools to make sure that your contact center is operating at the max efficiency, not only from a logistics perspective, but from an individual employee perspective, that you're getting the most out of your contact center agent employees, that they're happy, that they're productive, and that once again, they're willing to stay longer than you typically see. All of that is layered together with our AI and automation that we have on an open cloud platform that allows for instant scalability and business agility to make those moves, adds, and changes as quickly as you want. Go ahead and next slide. So a little bit more about who we are and a little bit more of our background here. And go ahead and go to the next slide there. What makes our approach unique? And you'll see there on the right the three circles there. We talked a little bit about our platform. This is really the machine behind it that is extremely robust. As Doug said, NICE has a reputation of being the Cadillac in the market and being a leader in the market. And so you have that very, very robust engine. And you combine that with our partner ecosystem. So there are obviously other platforms and technologies out there that can enhance the overall experience. And we have a very robust ecosystem that allows us to seamlessly integrate with those organizations to give you even better and top-notch technology. And then you'll see there, and this is really the key to it all, is, hey, it's great that you have a vision, it's great that you have a great product set, but if you're not successful on the platform, it's all for naught. And so we have a very experienced and very sophisticated customer success services and teams that ensures that you are going to be successful on our platform. And so as you can see there to the left there, 5 times the enterprise customers than any of our other competition out there. The enterprise grade reliability and scalability, and we'll get into kind of the reliability, but we have geographic redundancy to ensure that the platform is up and running, right? Anything in the cloud, there's always the chance of downtime and maintenance windows and things like that. And we do a lot, we've spent a lot of money in infrastructure to make sure that that will not happen. Now, while we do have 85 of the Fortune 500 using our platform, that doesn't mean that the medium-sized business and the SMB business cannot take advantage of our platform. I have worked with companies that have 20, 30 call center agents, and we're able to use the technology to help them be successful. So no matter, once again, what scale you're at in the marketplace, we can help you with that. One of the reasons why we're able to stay really ahead of the curve in contact center technology and customer experience technology is we do have a very large R&D team, over 2,500 R&D reps. That's a lot of R&D reps compared to total employees that a lot of our competition even has. So that allows us to continually innovate, look for what's out there in the marketplace, either develop it in-house or acquire that and be able to seamlessly incorporate it into the CXone suite. And then we make it easy. Once again, we're a top-rated customer success model that allows us to make things very easy for our customers, all in one platform, pre-built integrations. So with your customer relationship management tool, your CRM tool, or customer database, very robust APIs to integrate with, making it very easy from an implementation and integration perspective. But then also that white glove service on the back end to make sure that you're being successful with our platform. Next slide. So a little bit about our financial strength and sustained success across the board. We are publicly traded, as you can see there under NICE there. We mentioned the 2,300 R&D professionals. We have over 25,000 customers worldwide. We have 7,000 employees worldwide across all the NICE brands, CXone being one of those brands. In customer experience revenue with CXone, we have over 1.3 billion in revenue each year, with the $18 billion market cap. So we're, and I'm sure you're seeing this as well, there's a huge shift to the cloud, and that transition is going to continue to happen in contact center as a service and customer experience across the board. Once again, we are very much an international company. So whether you're stateside or if you're up north in Canada or across the world, we have global offices and infrastructure to help with that. Next slide.
Hey Casey, if you don't mind, I'll stop you real quick, because I remember when I first started out in the contact center space, and Melissa, if you can go back, that'd be great. I always wondered what this meant. Why is that important to me? And I think some of our customers and the prospects on the phone right now would want to know that as well. Compared to some of the other companies that might be indebted for infrastructure they had to buy. So why is this information here important to us?
Absolutely. Really, at the end of the day, NICE has an extreme abundance of cash flow, and that does a couple of different things. One, it allows us to continue to innovate and make sure that we have the best platform out there, that we're incorporating in tools so we can go out and acquire those companies that make sense, and those pieces of technology to make sense. We can continue to develop in-house to make our platform even better. So when you have extreme debt and things of that nature, it makes it hard to and it limits the ability that you have to continue to innovate across the board. So I think those are huge things. I think from a financial strength, once again, when you're in the black instead of the red, it frees up the ability for us to really get creative. We're not pinned down on budgets, and so it's a huge advantage for us from that perspective. And really from a confidence perspective for our customers that, hey, NICE isn't going anywhere. We're not in a hard spot there. So you're going to have continued success. We're going to continue to invest in the most robust infrastructure to make sure that we're up and running and that you can be successful on our platform.
I appreciate that, Casey. And one thing I did want to add to that is, a phrase I hear out there a lot is data is the new oil. And with them having this much this much freedom and financial freedom, I guess I should say, they have the time to do research on data, put all that data together and innovate for you guys. I'll say that a lot on these webinars. The more you join, data is the new oil. And that's one more thing I wanted to point out for that. So appreciate that, Casey, because I know when I first started this, I always questioned, why is this important to me? So
absolutely. Good point. A little bit more about our position as a leader. As I mentioned, 85 of the Fortune 100 are using our platform. So once again, you have to have enterprise solutions in order to help enterprise customers. The great thing, once again, is we have the ability to scale across markets. So once again, no matter if you're large enterprise or SMB, we have the technology in place to help you. And really, the cool thing about it is I have customers that have 30 call center agents that are using the exact same technology that a Fortune 100 customer is using. And it's cost effective, and it's not outrageously expensive. And so that's the beauty of the CXone platform is really as a smaller customer, you can have enterprise grade technology at your fingertips. As you can see, there are 620,000 agents worldwide using our platform. I'm going to skip the FedRAMP for a second and go into a little bit more detail there. We're in 100+ countries and over 16 years in the cloud. Far left corner there, 99.99% uptime guarantee. Once again, having the cash flow that we have, we're able to invest heavily in our infrastructure to ensure that our data centers are geographically redundant, that there's redundancies on top of redundancies, and that enables us to guarantee a 99.99% uptime guarantee. That is contractually guaranteed. So if we fail to meet that SLA, we actually will credit our customers back. That's on a monthly basis as well. Some of our competition will kind of roll everything together into a year aggregate where we do it each and every month. There's no downtime for maintenance as well. So no matter what type of maintenance we're doing on our platform, which we're continually doing, we've set our platform up in a very sophisticated way to make sure that that's not going to happen even when maintenance is happening. Going back to the FedRAMP, and this is going to kind of tie into our robust capabilities from a security and compliance perspective. FedRAMP is really it's the highest certification with the federal government of the United States. It's a authorization that you have to have in order to be a cloud vendor with the federal government. And right now, NICE CXone is the only cloud contact center vendor that is FedRAMP authorized. So really, we've done a huge amount of business with the government, as you can imagine. Recently with COVID, we've worked with state, local, and federal branches across the board there. Next slide. Once again, talking a little bit about our global reach there. Operations supported in 100+ countries. As you can see there, it gives you a little bit of a snapshot of our global infrastructure. So our points of presence for voice, our data centers that we have across the world there, and that's going to continue to grow. I know we have heavy infrastructure going into place in South America as well as in Asia Pac. So that's going to just continue to grow each and every quarter. Next slide. Once again, it's one thing for me to say, hey, we're the greatest out there, right? Every salesperson is going to say that, and that makes sense. Really what I think is kind of the cherry on top of the NICE CXone story and why, you know, we see companies coming to us is the industry leadership recognition that we receive. So there's industry analysts out there like Gartner, Forrester, Omedia, DNG, Frost & Sullivan. These are all analyst firms that spend a lot of money and time looking at different verticals. So contact center as a service, specifically for us, they look at all the companies that are, you know, out there, and they talk to their customers. They look at their technology stack. They do a lot of research and basically come back and say, hey, these are the leaders in the space. These are the people that you should, or companies that you should be looking at. So across the board there, you see all of those. We've been named as a leader in the space by each and every one of those organizations, and that's a consensus across the board. And we are the only CCaaS vendor out there that has received the top rating across the board for, you know, from each of these individual organizations. So once again, it's one thing to hear me kind of, you know, yammer on about all the things that we do great. It's another thing to, you know, take, you know, once again, organizations that have done a lot of interviewing with our customers, a lot of time on our technology stack to make sure, hey, these are the short lists, these are the organizations that you should be looking at. And NICE CXone across the board meets that. Next slide. Okay, perfect. So I'll stop there. You know, Doug, happy to answer any questions from the group if we want, or any other questions that you may have before we transition in here with the last 15 minutes and give you a little sneak peek of the CXone platform.
Yeah, if you do have any questions, you can either put them in the questions tab or chat. We'll take a look at them, or just raise your hand and we can unmute you.
So I'm sure people are eager to see a little bit of the platform, and then obviously we're happy to work with Doug and team to get any, you know, future demonstrations set up if there's interest, by all means.
It looks like you're good to go, Casey. I'll let you know if somebody throws something in there.
All right. So my sales engineer, Kendall Croft, is on the line here, and if we can give him presentation rights, we can have him share his screen and we can get going here.
Who is it? I'm sorry. It's not
Kendall
you.
Croft.
Melissa, he's listed under Casey still too. It's just the one that's not presenting. I think you could just move it up to the second Casey.
Okay.
And I apologize. Yeah, for some reason my name's still listed under Casey.
Yeah, I was like, did you get it?
I believe so. Bear with me 1 second. Working from a new machine here, so I have to enable a couple of preferences or a couple of options here. Bear with me here.
And Doug, while we're waiting for Kendall to do that, you know, a couple kind of things that we're seeing on our roadmap across the board. Once again, we talked a little bit about AI and automation. One thing that we're seeing a huge trend in is, once again, getting customers information that is self-service and self-help. And so, you know, this is something that we're happy to you know, set up some time to go into deeper dives with anyone that's interested. But we have some tools called Expert and Guide that really help set up a knowledge base, not only for internal agents, but also for your external customers, and make it in a self-service capacity, whether that's on your website, whether that's via chat, whether that's via IVR, to make it very easy for them to get the information they want very quickly. Once again, we're seeing with this new generation coming up, they'd rather just find the information themselves and have it at their fingertips than have to engage you know, a human being. And so once again, that's something that we're seeing on our roadmap, where we're coming out with new technology to address that. So that's kind of the latest and greatest on our roadmap that, you know, we're happy to talk with anyone about moving forward.
All right. I believe I am sharing my screen now, so let me know if, Casey, if that is not coming through.
Looks good.
All right. So as Casey's mentioned, my name is Kendall Croft, a sales engineer with NICE CXone. I want to spend a few minutes talking about some of the components of the overall CXone platform. We want to focus a little bit on the agent experience and what it looks like from the agent perspective when we're talking about some of the digital interactions. So we'll spend a couple of moments referring to that and talking about the agent experience. Then we also want to spend a few minutes talking about the analytics engine of the NICE CXone platform, both from a quality standpoint and from an overall interaction standpoint. As Casey has mentioned, being able to take an overall view, maybe a 30,000-foot view of what's occurring on the platform, and then being able to drill down into that and understanding some of the insights of what's occurring, how we can best understand what the customers are looking for in their journey, and how we can best assist them, whether that's providing more tools and more training to the agents, or perhaps maybe making some changes to the overall platform as well to address some of those concerns. So we'll get right into it. I am showing again on the screen the CXone User Hub. We won't spend a lot of time in here, just wanted to give a quick heads up and an overview that everything associated with your contact center in the management there is all contained within User Hub. So again, showing the overall platform and all of the different components and elements that you can really get your hands on when it comes to managing that overall contact center environment. I want to spend a moment going through the MAX interface. MAX is the client that the agents use to handle all types of interactions, whether those are voice types of interactions, digital interactions, and so forth. Casey mentioned that we are a true omni-channel platform, and what that means is that while I am handling digital interactions, I may also be tasked with handling a voice call. As I'm working on that voice call, if perhaps I need to wait for some customer input, I could be presented with a chat or any other type of digital type of interaction. And so it really gives me as an agent all of the tools at my fingertips necessary to manage my workload. And not just from a contact handling perspective, but also being able to look at my workforce engagement, being able to take a look at my schedule, putting in time off requests. All of that is available through the MAX interface. You'll see that I do have a Facebook message that's been routed to me, and so I can easily take a look at this message. Now, depending on the setup, depending on how we are routing those different interactions, I can route this directly over to this agent. In this particular case, customer had been working with this agent previously, and the agent was assisting them. Customer determined that there were some additional follow-up items that needed to be addressed. And so that customer's reached back out to this particular agent. As an agent, I have full access and control over handling that interaction, but I also have information presented to me through what's called a customer contact card. That customer card lets me see some of the details about this particular individual. If it's someone that I'm familiar with, great. If it's someone that I'm not familiar with, it's someone that I may have never really interacted with before, I can see some of the details. So again, this is a Facebook interaction, and so I can see some of the details of that Facebook profile. I can see any previous interactions. I can see any other notes that may have been tagged from those previous interactions as well. So at my fingertips, I know exactly what it is that I need to be doing to be able to address this particular customer's concerns. You may have noticed that when it first was routed to me, I was only presented with the first message. Now, again, I'm familiar with that particular interaction. I'm familiar with that thread, so I may not need the back context on that. But if this is routed to an agent that's not too familiar with that, they do have the ability to look at some of that previous interaction history and really be able to understand those customers' needs and be able to address those as it is. In this particular case, customers having some problems, and so I'm going to need to loop in some additional resources here. And so I can just tell them that I'll need to get some additional resources here. And then as I send this to the customer, I can either send this as a resolved message, perhaps I need to send that as an escalated message or a pending message. And so I can determine exactly if this conversation is going to be resolved at this point, or if we're going to be looking to bring in additional resources, or if I'm just going to be expecting to receive some additional insight and information back from the customer. So again, it gives me all those tools at my fingertips that I can send that over to the customer. And we can continue working on that, making sure that that customer, as they're going through their journey of getting the answers that they need and getting resolution, that we are assisting them at the level that they need. Okay. Let me switch back over to our user hub. Within the user hub, again, we want to take a look at some of the analytics that we can use to ensure that your contact center management staff has everything that they need to be able to help those customers in their journey as well. I'm going to switch over to our quality management analytics engine. So the quality management gives us an opportunity to score the agents according to those interactions and according to the specific elements that we're looking for. So I can create different quality forms. Each quality form can be configured and built out to ask the appropriate questions and be able to determine exactly what it is that we're scoring those agents on, or understand exactly what it is that we need to be guiding those agents towards. On this particular form, you'll see a few questions that have been built out. Some of these are yes or no types of questions. There could be multiple choice types of questions or multiple selections, drop-down menus and so forth. Different media types that I can use, or different question types that I can use to, again, ask the appropriate questions and make sure that we are tracking the overall performance of those agents appropriately. As I build out these forms, I can then also assign specific scoring and different points to those different questions by weighting those questions appropriately, making some questions scoreable or not scoreable, all with the intent, again, to make sure that as we are working directly with the agents, we want to make sure that the agents understand what is the job requirement in front of them from an assisting of a customer standpoint, and making sure that we can provide that agent with the appropriate feedback in their journey or in their quest to help those customers out. After we have defined the questions and defined the scoring, we can test that form if necessary to ensure that it's working appropriately, and we're making sure that it's working the way that we need it to. Once we've tested it, once we've built it, and we make sure that it's working appropriately, we can then start to use that form. The way we can use that form is by building out a quality plan. Now, in some quality systems, it's up to the supervisor or the quality individual to pick and choose what interactions that they're looking for. The NICE CXone platform allows us to build out what's called a quality plan, and that quality plan allows us to determine, without the quality evaluator's involvement, which interactions we want to be looking at. That helps to reduce any type of bias. It helps to eliminate some of the time that it takes on that evaluator's workload, in that they're not looking for those interactions. They simply have that quality plan assigned to them, and then we can automatically look for those different interactions. There's a few things that you can do and choose when we're setting up how exactly we're going to be looking for interactions. So within this quality plan, if we're looking for a certain number of interactions per agent, if we're looking to include those just from the last set number of days, we want to look for more recent interactions that are going to be more on the top of those agents' minds as well. Different filters we can use as well as looking at different channels. Again, multiple digital channels that we can be looking at from a contact routing perspective, but then also from an interactions perspective. But as we talked about with the analytics, we want to also include the ability to look at the analytics within the organization, whether that's looking at a sentiment of that interaction, whether that was a positive interaction or a negative, neutral or mixed. We want to be looking at specific categories as well. So within the CXone platform, there are several different categories that we can drill into. If it lets me select that for some reason, but we can actually get into some of the different categories. There are categories that are pre-built that pertain to the overall business, and some of those categories can be, say, if an agent is dismissive or disruptive, perhaps is not letting the customer speak. Perhaps the agent is being a little bit more dismissive than that, and maybe cursing or saying some negative things on that interaction. We can select those types of categories. We also can build in some pre-built categories that are, some custom categories that are more specific to the specific use case and the specific business. So whether that's dealing with a new product or a new service that's being launched, being able to look at certain things that pertain directly to that business line. We can then cross-check some of those categories. So again, using the example of a new business or a new product or service, we can take a look at that and then also cross-check that with maybe a category where the agent is not knowledgeable or is unable to assist. We can then use all of that data to pull those interactions, specific interactions, into this quality plan, and we can then send that information over to the evaluator, and the evaluator will be able to review those interactions, walk through those with the agent, and help the agent understand where it is that they need to improve, or maybe even point out some areas of overall success, things that the agent was doing well, so that we know, again, reiterating and reinforcing those positive behaviors as well to those agents. In addition to the analytics engine within our quality management, we have a full analytics engine that allows customers to look for the specific interactions and look for the overall categories and the overall concepts that are being discussed within the organization. I have the ability to build out a company profile. That company profile lets me look at the different keywords or phrases that I need to be looking at from a company perspective. I can look at different products, different competitors, different competitor brands and products as well, all with the intent to make sure that we're looking for those correct interactions and looking for the elements that is going to give me the most insight into the business. And then once I build out that company profile, I can then take a look at my data and create what are called data sets. Whether that's a data set looking directly at digital interactions, I can build out that type of data set. And within that data set, I can then take a look at the occurrences of certain keywords or phrases, or in this particular module, I can be looking at the different sentiments, if there's overall positive or negative sentiment. I want to be looking at what types of interactions are getting the most types of occurrences. I can then drill into each specific interaction as well and get a detailed overview of what's occurring on that interaction, whether that again is including any types of keywords or phrases that are being spoken, any types of follow-up items that I may need to be looking at from my contact center. In addition to that, and let me back up and go into the data sets again, I can also be looking at what's called, let me pull this up here. Again, looking at this one is more from a voice standpoint. So within the voice standpoint, I can also be doing what's called an auto discovery. There may be certain categories or certain topics that are being discussed that I may not even be fully aware of. So the auto discovery picks up on those different topics, and it links things together based on the occurrences of those different interactions. So within my auto discovery, as you see, I can easily see the different topics that are being brought up. Here's one where there's someone that maybe someone keeps interrupting another person. And so something that I may not be automatically thinking of, I can take a look into that and understand what's going on here. Problem being fixed today. As I drill into one of those, I can then see how that's being linked to other topics and other elements within my auto discovery. I can drill into the specific interactions as well and start to see what other topics or what other phrases are being spoken about and what's the frequency of each of those as well. So all of that analytics gives me as a contact center manager the insight that I need to understand what the journeys are of those customers and how best I can assist them, what we can do to improve that overall customer's sentiment and satisfaction. Okay. I know it's very high level, but those are some of the components that we provide through our analytics and through the contact handling. And as Casey mentioned, we're happy to schedule some additional time and to go through those more.
Perfect. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Doug, we'll go ahead and turn it back over to you.
Yeah, that was a great overview right there. It definitely shows how robust the system is with NICE CXone, and why you guys are leading in the industry and all those different categories out there. So we hit just about the time mark for 1 hour here. Like I said, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat. We'll give that a few more minutes here. But feel free to reach out to us. You guys all have our contact information at the Cloud Solutions team at ericryan.com, or you can send something directly to me. We will have one of our customer success managers reach out to each and every one of you guys to just see if there's anything additional you need. If you want a one-on-one presentation and a demonstrator that's more tiered towards your business, we could do that. If you want to see any case studies or just wondering what you guys could do to evolve yourself and your businesses into the new cloud contact center arena. So we appreciate everybody in your time for being on here with us today. We're going to let you guys go for the day, and thank you very much for being on.
Thanks, everyone.